try a test and see how this goes. All right. Hey, I'm Furball, and I'm gonna try something different today. I don't know how well this is gonna work, but we're gonna try some streaming. And we're gonna fix some of these Nintendo 64 games that they don't work. I bought them off of eBay, and yeah. Uh, so here we can go try and plug them in. I'll take them over to the TV. And we pop them in. And nothing happens. There's one. Winter Olympics. That don't work. Major League Baseball, Ken Griffey. Nothing. I bought all these broken off of eBay because this stuff's hardly ever broken. And NHL. And we get nothing from any of these 5 carts. So let's give it a shot. Ugh. Alright. So we're just going to start off with the top one here, Madden 2000. And why not? See, there's one viewer out there. Hello. Welcome. I hope this is streaming smoothly or whatever. I'm trying this for pretty much the first time. And I'm gonna clean some Nintendo 64 games. Feel free to say something in the chat. I can sort of see it from here. I'll try to keep up. Yeah. So this is in pretty rough shape. I don't know if you can tell. I'm horrible at this. Okay. But you can see the corrosion on these contacts. It's pretty bad off. The back side's got some too. And we're just going to clean that off of there. Normally you would just clean your contacts with alcohol, but these are pretty bad off, so I'm gonna very, very, very carefully and very lightly use a very used part of this emery board here and gently kind of sand this corrosion off of it. You don't want to scrub too hard. You're gonna scratch up the contacts, and you don't want that. You just want to kind of get that surface junk off of it. I'm sure some people watching this could be cringing at me sanding these contacts this way. But like I said, I'm just barely doing it just to get that surface corrosion off of it, and it looks a million times better already. Go ahead and get both sides. This side's a little bit worse. I just recently had to do Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo for a friend, and it was so corroded it wasn't effectively saving. Like, sometimes it would work and sometimes it wouldn't. and it was super corroded, and so I pretty much did the same thing to that cartridge. And I'm just taking some 91% isopropyl, and I'm gonna clean that up now that I have sanded it down. And there we go. And that's usually all it takes to get one of these working again. And you always kind of take a look at the board to see if you notice like anything severely wrong with it, but the board itself actually looks like it's in pretty good shape. So now we just put this back together, which is kind of the longest part of this process. Not difficult, but I don't know why they put all this shielding in here, just something else for you to have to take apart. And wasting a couple extra screws for I don't know what purpose. NES games are still just fine, and they never use this. Pretty much the same technology inside. You got a circuit board and some chips, and yeah, I don't know what the shielding's about. I guess extra protection. They were worried unnecessarily about that, I guess. Now to take this apart, I am using your standard game bit. Takes apart, you know, all your Nintendo brand games. Any collector or repairman should have a good set of those. Alright, so let's see if Madden works. I'm gonna bring it on over to the telly. And it's in the game. And I cleaned it right up. None of these games were working previously, but that's all it needed was just a little bit of love. So now we've got a good copy of Madden 2000. Alright. And it tells you how to use this wonky, weird, three-handled controller. That's nice of it. You always need to know how to use one of those, because, I mean, who's got three hands? Well, okay. That's one down. Hopefully this stream is working. I can't tell. Nobody's commented in the chat as far as I can see. But yeah, we're gonna try it anyways. So, next up we have Nagano Winter Olympics 98. Why not? These are not the best games, but they were cheap and they're broken and they need to be fixed. Somebody out there probably likes one of these. I don't know. And to be honest, I probably don't have many of them in my collection. My Nintendo 64 collection's pretty slim. It's never big on the 64. I pick them up, you know, when I find them. But, you know, eventually I'm going to get more into collecting for them. But you don't really see them too terribly often out in the wild. And I like to pick up most of my stuff that way. Unless it's just something specific that I'm looking for. Yeah, see this one's super corroded as well. Ooh, okay. If you can see all of that corrosion on there. Kind of hard to show off because of the light, makes it look extra shiny anyways, but pretty dirty. But yeah, So I'm just going to do the same thing to this one. Just maybe more than gently on this one. No, it's coming off pretty easy. People always wonder, how do these games get like this? Like, how do they get that dirty? And it's like, well, blowing in them certainly doesn't help. That causes oxidation from the moisture in your breath. It temporarily gets your game to work, but in the long run, you're just making the problem worse. And it adds up and adds up, and then you get all this gunk on there and it doesn't work anymore. Of course, also, spilling stuff in them or whatever. I've opened up Nintendo games with looked like a whole Coke was in it. Clean it up pretty good and it still worked afterwards, so usually you can fix them. Yeah, this one's bad. Somebody must have really loved this Olympics game. Or they didn't and just kind of threw it out in the backyard for 20 years. mm. Well, alright. Not the best looking. Couple of spots I couldn't get off of there, but I don't want to scrub it too hard like I said. I just want to get it to work again. Clean it up with my 91%. And you think after scrubbing it'd be pretty clean, but you can see the filth on this Q-tip. Definitely got to clean it with the alcohol afterwards, and I don't know, just looks a lot better. Now, I'm not going to say it looks brand new, but it looks like it's going to play, for sure. So, let's put her on back together. A little weird plastic thing, I guess, to help keep gunk out of it. A lot of good that did. But, only the connectors are dirty in these games so far. And it's like, well, that little guard keeps all of that gunk from getting all over the circuit board as well. So, it helps. Still don't think it's actually necessary. They just spend a lot of money on extra parts for these things. Kind of needless. That's one reason why they're so heavy. Like, that is not super cheap shielding like you might see, like a Wii Drive little cover plate here, super, super thin. But that's like a nicer steel. That's why these things weigh so much. It's really weird when you pick them up when you're used to handling like other cartridge-based games. You're just like, wow, what is in here? And it's just nothing but a bunch of extra parts. The actual board is pretty small, and there's not much on that board, like the chips. So, yeah, it's all pretty much that metal shielding. Alright. And let's go check out this Winter Olympics. Alright, let's pop her right on in and give us something to see. Oh, look at that, Konami. It's amazing what a little bit of love can do to these poor old games. Hey, we got us a nice little grabber. Go ahead and let that run for a second. I hope the chat's looking, or the stream is looking good. Like smooth and stuff. If you have any comments about that, go ahead and let me know in the chat. I'd like to make this experience the best for everyone. And if it's not working properly, you know, I could be just wasting my time. But it seems like this Olympics game works great. All it needed was a little cleaning. Alright. That's 2 down. The great thing about these games is it doesn't take that long to get them fixed. You know, you can just kind of knock them out. Oh, this one has a bigger board and a bigger shield in it. I also haven't opened up a whole lot of Nintendo 64 games either. Like I said, I don't get a lot of these, so these are some of the first that I've ever taken apart and fixed. I've probably done a couple before, but yeah, see, this one has a save battery in it. What game are we playing here? This. Oh, Ken Griffey Jr. Major League Baseball. Well, I guess you could save your season or something. Yeah, again, this one's just super nasty. You can see that. Kind of hard to show off with the lighting and stuff. It looks very much more dirty in person, I assure you. Alright. Well, we will go ahead and follow the same procedure. A lot of these repairs for stuff is just the same over and over again, repetitive. You run into the same problems. Once you've fixed a couple of things, it's like, oh yeah, there's nothing to that, you know. Most of the fixes for, you know, all these game systems and games and stuff are pretty easy to do. There are some that are tougher, like, you know, oh, you need to replace an HDMI port in something. It's a little more advanced. Ew. There's like some nasty crust right there on the solder mask. Alright, that side's good. It's like a night and day difference. You gotta get all that filth off there so it can read these pins. You gotta have a good connection or it just won't work. This one's kind of bad, but I think we got it pretty nice. I hope that hasn't eaten a trace. Alright. Well, give it a little clean. Super dirty. Super dirty. I always try to clean a little bit up there on the solder mask too. because I don't want this filth getting in my console or anything. And look at all of this. Like, after I sanded it and everything, there's still all of this filth. I don't know if it's focusing on that. I'm horrible at that. Yeah, nasty. Nasty. Alright. Slide it back together. And see if we got another winner. We'll get in there. What? Okay. I guess you need steadier hands than mine. Or a nice surface to put it on so you can get it in there straight. And put in these goofy screws. Looks like I still got a viewer out there, so thanks for watching. I hope this is mildly entertaining. And I hope it's working properly and running smoothly and that you can hear me and everything. I hope that you can hear me. I have the microphones on. I made sure of that. Alright, so let's try number 3. The Ken Griffey baseball game of justice. Yeah. Wait, that's not the title. And what we get? Look at that. It's great. Like, you know, 9 times out of 10, when you get a game that is broken, a cartridge game, it's usually just dirty. Every now and then you can have a bad chip on it. But, nah. Usually, it's just some filth. Alright, that's number 3. Alright. WCW versus NWO World Tour. With some wrestlers on the front. I don't know who these people are. I never really watched a lot of wrestling. My friend Bobby Freedom, he enjoys wrestling. He probably knows who both of those guys are. Yeah, Bobby, if you see this, yeah, you see here, can I am horrible at that. Who are these wrestlers? They are wrestlers. I'm certain of that. Alright. I'm kind of curious to know who they are. Could be people that don't even wrestle anymore, man. These games are pretty old. I have a co-worker whose brother used to be a professional wrestler. I can't exactly remember his name, but he was somebody, you know. They would televise the matches. It was pro wrestling. Unfortunately, I don't believe that feller's with us any longer. God, this one's, these are all in pretty bad shape. And it's no wonder, you know, that they get tosses broken. It's good that, you know, somebody out there knows that they're worth something to somebody, and so they decided to try to sell them, you know, broken as is, for somebody like me to just give a little bit of love to. That one is really bad. I hope that didn't eat the trace. But we've been lucky so far. I think it'll be okay. Yeah, it'll be alright. And the longer you let these things stay this way, the worse they get. And it's just slowly eating the metal. Kind of like rust, you know. If something starts rusting and you let it go, it'll just continue rusting until the metal completely deteriorates. And this metal's so thin on these, you know, it doesn't take a whole lot for that to happen. And it'll wind up, you know, you eat through the traces, and then you gotta put jumpers on there, and a real pain to try and fix one that's that far gone. Let's grab this one. This one has a couple of bad looking pins still. It'll probably work. Alright, well, I want to slap it back together. Any idea what I was doing? I'm kidding. Alright. I don't even know if I have these in my collection or not. I haven't even looked. Here, I'd wait. See if I get them working first. I also wouldn't mind having a nice working double of something, you know, just to use for testing or whatever. I always keep a handful of games for that. Like working on consoles and stuff. Alright, well, let's try the wrestling game. WCW versus NWO. Not to be confused with NWA. Completely different. And look at that. We're 4 for 4. Boom. He's playing an air violin. Because wrestlers do that, apparently. That guy flies. I don't really recall any flying wrestlers, but, you know. Maybe there was one. Like I said, I wasn't that into wrestling. There you go. Nice shot up somebody's butt. Okay. Yeah. Looks like that's working. Forward down. And the last one here is NHL Breakaway 98. 8. Is there an echo in here? Alright. Open sesame. This one might be the best looking out of the 5. It doesn't look so dirty. But it must be, because this cartridge does not work either. Alright. Yeah. Definitely got some filth on it. It's just not as bad off as the other. Yeah, real light light sanding just knocked this one right out for us. Like, I am just gently rubbing it across the top. I'm like not, I mean, just barely applying any pressure to it. That looks pretty. That looks almost brand new now. This one's just super dirty. Ooh. Couple of bad spots on this side. I'll just apply a little bit more pressure. We'll clean it up. I don't know what happened to the end of it here. But it'll be alright. Another Q-tip. You want to do this kind of work, you better buy a lot of Q-tips. I can't tell you how many Q-tips I go through. That reminds me, I should pick up some more Q-tips next time I'm out. Of course, I keep saying Q-tip, like, you know, any cotton swab will do. You don't have to buy the name brand stuff, especially for this. I'm certainly not using name brand stuff. Put that on screen a little bit. Sorry about that. Yeah, so hopefully this is going well and you are seeing and hearing everything that is going on, preferably with not much lag or anything like that. Alright, NHL Breakaway 98, let's give it a test. Yeah, man, that's 5 for 5. All these broken games just needed a quick cleaning. You know, and you could have tried to clean them, you know, like just by taking a Q-tip inside of it, you know, without taking it apart. You might get them clean. Some of these were too bad for that to even work on it, though. Like maybe this last one, but obviously working just fine. NHL 98. Alright, so now we have 5 good working Nintendo 64 games. And yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut the stream and maybe check and see if that worked out okay. And if so, we'll stream again some more. And you know, we'll fix a whole bunch more stuff. I have tons of stuff I could fix. I'm always fixing this stuff off camera, and I decided to give this a try, so hopefully it's working all right. And if my one viewer is still here, I hope that you enjoyed it. And yeah, we'll see you next time.